Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to get into it?
Always ready. What are we diving into today?
Today we're talking all about, well, it's more than just spreadsheets and numbers, right?
Okay, I'm intrigued. More than numbers, huh?
Right. It's all about financial wellness.
So we're getting into the good stuff.
Exactly.
Mm.
And, we're actually looking at this excerpt. It's from an article called Financial Wellness. More than just numbers. It's a whole vibe. Have you heard of it?
I have, yeah. I think the title alone really captures what we're often missing in these conversations about money.
Right. It's a whole vibe. I'm really curious to, see what vibe we kind of uncover together. What do you think?
I'm game. Let's get those good vibes flowing.
Awesome. Okay, so the article really, really emphasizes this feeling of financial wellness. So it's not just about the cold, hard numbers, just looking at your bank account. It's about so much more than that.
Totally. It's about how you feel about your money, not just how much of it you have.
Yes. And it actually says that it talks about cultivating like a sense of almost like Zen-like peace of mind when it comes to your money.
Okay, Zen-like peace of mind with money. I like that. Sounds pretty ideal, doesn't it?
Right. But how do we get there? I mean, it got me thinking, like, how much do our emotions even play into our financial decisions anyway?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, think about it. When you're stressed about money, you're not exactly thinking clearly, are you?
No, not at all.
The article even mentions a study, I think it was saying that people who are under a lot of financial stress, it's like they have the equivalent of a 13-point drop in IQ when they're making financial decisions.
All right, 13 points? Really?
Yeah, wild. Right. Shows you how much that stress can really just like cloud our judgment.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know, like, for me, if an unexpected expense pops up, it's almost like all logic just goes out the window.
Oh, tell me about it. It happens to the best of us.
And suddenly, you're just reacting emotionally instead of, like, thinking through things clearly.
Right, exactly. But the flip side of that is when you feel prepared, you can kind of face those challenges, those money challenges head on. Wouldn't you say?
Totally. It's like having that sense of security just lets you breathe a little easier.
And that preparedness doesn't just have to be about, emergencies and unexpected things.
Yeah, that's true.
It can also be about feeling like you have what you need to reach your own personal goals, whatever those might be.
Yeah, I love that.
The article really highlights like how individual this whole thing is. It's not one size fits all. Like they say, your money, your rules.
Yes, that's so important to remember.
Right.
Financial freedom, it looks different for everyone.
100%.
For me, you know what it would be? It would be being able to travel spontaneously without, like, stressing about the cost.
Oh, I like that.
Like, just book a flight on a whim
Oh.
and know I've got it covered.
See, that's a good vibe right there.
Right. What about you? What does that dream financial freedom look like for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. And it's a great question for, everyone listening to think about too. For me, it's about knowing that I'm financially secure enough to be able to pursue like creative passions,
I like that.
even if those passions aren't, necessarily bringing in tons of money at first.
Yeah, that sense of freedom is priceless.
And a big part of that for me is feeling confident in my ability to like make sound financial decisions. Not feeling like I'm just winging it.
That makes so much sense. But sometimes, especially if you're just starting out, that whole like gaining that confidence, it can feel kind of overwhelming. There's so much financial jargon out there and it feels like there's conflicting advice everywhere you turn.
Oh, totally. It's like a jungle out there sometimes.
And the article, it talks about how education is really key here, even if it's just like taking small steps.
100%. Even just like dipping your toes in the water can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's about empowering yourself bit by bit.
So where do you even start?
Honestly, it can be as simple as reading a personal finance blog,
Yeah. Yeah.
or taking like a free online course. There are tons of resources out there.
That's a good point.
It just helps you to kind of understand the basics, feel
Yeah.
more comfortable asking the right questions.
Right.
And ultimately, that's what leads to feeling more in control of your finances.
I think I always had this idea in my head that like financial wellness was all about delaying gratification.
Okay, yeah.
Like, you got to sacrifice now to enjoy later, right?
Right.
But this article, it really talks about finding more of a balance, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
No.
you can still enjoy your life today
Mm.
while, also prepping for the future.
It's not all or nothing.
Not all or nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any, like, advice on how people can find that sweet spot between saving and spending.
There's a really great line in the article that I love. It says, splurge on what you love and save for what you need.
Oh, I like that.
It's all about mindful spending,
Hmm.
not deprivation.
Okay, yeah.
So, maybe you swap that daily latte for a homemade brew a couple days a week, and then you use the savings for like a fun weekend trip.
That makes sense.
Or maybe you cook more meals at home so you can afford tickets to that concert you've been dying to see.
So it's not about being like a penny pincher or anything.
No, not at all.
It's just about being more conscious about where your money's going.
It's about aligning your spending with your values and your goals. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. So like what we're really talking about at the end of the day is creating a financial system that works for you.
Exactly. A system that gives you that sense of peace, that sense of control that we talked about. Because ultimately that's really the heart of financial wellness.
Yeah, it really all comes back to that good vibe feeling, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
So I want to leave you with one final thought. What's one small action that you can take today, like right now, to move just a little bit closer toward that feeling of control?
Good question. Maybe it's setting a small savings goal. Maybe it's downloading a budgeting app. Or maybe it's just taking a moment to acknowledge your financial wins, no matter how small.
Yeah, love that.
Remember, every step counts.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another deep dive.
My pleasure, as always.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.